Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my video. I was asked by Splitcoaststampers to do a video for you guys, and I'm going to be showing you how to do this card that folds flat, but it's actually a 6-sided hexagon pinwheel card fold. So you can see that as you flip through, I have different designer papers on each panel. I decided to leave them flat, and the designer paper does all the decorating for you. I do have one section that is stamped for the sentiment, so you can still write a little message. And if you have some designer paper that's kind of plain like this and you'd have it on this side, you can actually decorate those panels. But one tip, this card is so thick that I would make sure that everything is glued flat like you see on this panel. Now these are die cuts. I'm actually using Stampin' Up's He's the Man designer paper pack, and that package comes with the pre-printed die cuts, so it makes it quick and easy. You can see that I also decorated the flap of my envelope to coordinate with my card. I'm going to show you how to do that. And the stamp set that I'm using is the He's All That. And those also come with the dies, the All That dies, which I am not using today. I'm just using the stamp set. I'm using the little button image. And I'm using this sentiment that says, Happy Birthday to a Classic. Now, let me show you all the layers we're going to need today if you want to replicate my card. I'm using tear and tape. I have a card base that measures 5 inches by 4 1/4. The color I'm using today for my card base is Sahara Sand, and these are the 4 little die cuts. I'm also using, I'm going to show you another card also that I made earlier with this fold. 6 panels, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels, Sahara Sand that measure 4 1/4 by 2 3/8. Here's some designer papers. Now, I chose to use 3 patterns. It's up to you if you want to use the same pattern on each panel. You can mix and match anything that goes well together. And as you can see, they're just so pretty that I did not want to decorate them. I didn't want to cover them. And then the basic white for the sentiment panel. So all of these measure 4 by 2 1/8 inches. And one more. 6 more designer papers with different patterns, 2 of each, 4 inches by 1 3/8 inches. Now, for inks today, I'm using Cajun Craze and Early Espresso. All of my products are Stampin' Up because I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator. I've been a demonstrator for 13 years now. I have a scrap piece of designer paper I'm going to use for the envelope. And then here's the other card that I made. I can't remember the name of this designer paper, but again, the designer paper is so pretty that I really didn't need to decorate the panels. Look at all the pretty colors. And then we have the sentiment layer. I did 2 whites here only because this one was so long, and then there's room there to write your message. So let me show you how to get started. Bring the card back in. I'm going to start out with my scoring tool. Now I've already gone ahead and scored this the card base, and I added tear and tape, but I want to show you how I scored it. So we're going to use the 5-inch side up against the scoring tool. We're going to score 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch increments. So 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, 3 inches, 3 3/4, and 4 1/2. So that gives you, let me see if I can show that on the camera. That gives you 6 different sections and the skinnier tab on the end. And that's where I added my tear and tape, was on the skinnier tab. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the backing. And then I'm just going to fold on the score lines. And what I'm going to do to make it easy, this is the part with the tear and tape. I'm going to actually fold that over And then just fold the card base right in half and press it down, and it lines up perfectly. So you can see that I now have my little hexagon shape. Very easy. Now I'm going to bring in all 6 of these panels. Again, this is Sahara sand, 4 1/4 by 2 3/8. And I'm going to start out one section at a time. Now I'm using liquid glue. It's just easier to glue these in place. I'm going to start with one section. I'm going to line this up on the left side up to the score line. So there's my first one. Now we're going to move over to the next one. I'm just going to fold this over. And we're always gluing on the left-hand side. This card really looks complicated, you guys, but it's so easy. Okay, now we're going to fold again. I find it's easier to fold each time. This is number 3. Now we're up to number 4. I want to say thank you to Splitcoaststampers for contacting me to do a card for you guys. I think I'm going to be on their list now, so every 3 or 4 months you're going to see me come create for you. There's number 5, 1 more to go. So you can see how easy these are to glue on. And don't be intimidated by this. I will guarantee that you can make this. Okay, so there's my last one. Now when you stand it up, that's what it looks like, so that you know if you've done it correctly. So all of the pinwheels go in the same direction. Now I'm going to bring in my designer papers. Let me see, I got 2 of these. 2 of those in the white. I think I'm going to do my stamping first before I glue these down. And I'm also going to bring these in. Okay, so I'm going to use Early Espresso for the sentiment. I'm going to stamp that right at the top. And then the little button with Cajun Craze, and that's going to go on the bottom. I start in the middle and just work my way across. And I'm kind of lining the bottom of the stamp to the bottom of my cardstock. Okay, that's all the stamping I'm doing on this card. So now let's start. I'm going to start with this one here. I'm just going to fold this flat. I'm going to use my tape runner. And I purposely chose 2 different patterns. I just think it looks nice that way. Okay, there's the first one. Now we're going to flip over to the next one. I just love the images on this designer paper. I am one that loves creating masculine cards. It's my favorite. So you can see how quickly you can assemble this card. Now we've got the sentiment layer. And don't forget to add a photo of your card if you create this to our Splitcoaststampers. They will tell you on my upload where to add your card. They usually have a specific place to put them, so everybody's cards are all together, so you can see all the different designs. I can't wait to see what you're going to come up with. We're halfway there with gluing these down. This is also a good way to use up that designer paper of yours that you're probably hoarding And you can see the pieces are not that large, so it's a great way to use up some of your scraps as well. Okay, whoops. I messed up on one. I think I glued the wrong one or I cut the wrong one, but that's okay. We still get the two patterns. This will just be a little different than the original card. Last one, you guys. And on this one, we're actually going to add our little die cuts. Where did I end up with my glue? One more right here. I lost track of where I was. Last one. Okay, now I'm going to bring in these little die cuts. You could add stamped images that are cut out. You could add die cut shapes. You can add anything on here. And then I'm going to add my 2 stars. I'm just going to use the liquid glue. Add 2 little dots. That one's going to go right there. And this one's going to go right here. And look how quick. Now, let me show you how I do the envelopes. If you've never done an envelope, all you do is add adhesive around the edges of the flap. And then just position this right where the fold is. And then all you have to do is cut around, just trace. Another great way to use up your designer paper. And it's so impressive to receive a card that has a decorated envelope. Okay, so there's that one, and there's this one. Let me stand this one up so you can see what it looks like. There's the flat one, and then I'm gonna bring in this one that I did as well. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and please leave me a comment if you have any questions, and I'll get back to you.